lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Hello race fans and welcome to the Racers Elite Xfinity Series here live from Martinsville. The Paperclip, one of my favorite tracks. You know, we've seen some amazing things here. These guys are just now finishing up their practice session, about to head into qualifying. And you know, Martinsville is home of a lot of different things. I mean, you saw Joey Logano diving it in on Martin Truex to, you know, advance into the playoffs. And then you have the famous Matt Kenseth taking out Joey Logano and more. And, you know, Jeff Gordon's last win coming from that. And then you have the Hail Melon, which is still one of the craziest moves we've seen to date. These drivers are going to have a lot of patience tonight, as the Paperclip's not an easy one to get, you know, around here. You have those concrete corners, and, you know, it's 71 degrees out. And track temp is sitting around 71 degrees as well. So these guys are going to have a little bit of a colder session, colder race. And typically the concrete doesn't take too well to the cold, as much as, you know, your asphalt being a little bit more grippy. So it's going to be interesting to see how the conditions are for these guys once they start getting to go down and around. Take a look here at Nathan Mann making his qualifying laps, as he was, I believe he is the leader in points when I looked at it, my notes. Now, currently sitting second in points, so looking to possibly jump up a spot here over Brandon Sanfilippo. you know, get to the first. You know, this is the last race before the playoffs. So they're going to be going in trying to get every point that they possibly can. Looking down here at 12th place. 12th place and 13th are separated by 2 points, as well as Christopher Pendle and Richard Odie are tied at 267 with Jesse Fox at 269. And looking here, we have both Richard Odie, Jesse Fox, and Christopher Pendle here tonight. So we're going to see some action around that transfer spot. Truth Hope just a tad bit more off the off of that last position, sitting about 11 points out from that 12th position. So he's going to be trying to get as much as he can here as well. We'll go ahead and jump on board with Christopher Pendle as he's making his qualifying efforts here. Going to be finishing up his second lap here. It looks like he's going to shut her down. Jacob Plank going to come out of the corner, and he's going to complete this lap here, see what it does for him. 1972, 1969 took a second to refresh there, but puts him in 3rd place as we sit right now. Go ahead and take a look here at Sean Dunaway. Sean Dunaway is heading down the backstretch. Currently sitting at a 1983 in 5th place as we sit, tied with Dennis Kane, who's sitting in 6th right now. We come across the line, get a time. 1972 is going to bump him up to 4th place over Logan Joyner's 1976. And it looks like we're just about done here. We're going to hop on with San Filippo. He's going to get into his qualifying lap, going down the backstretch for what's his second lap. Set a 1987 on his first lap. See if he can get a good jump here. 4 cars yet to qualify here. Across the line. Slower that time by with a 1991. So it's going to keep him right there in 8th place. Andrew Teft, Lee Campbell, Richard Odie, and Todd Slauson yet to make times right now. So it looks like Brandon Honeycutt's going to be finishing up his. He's going to have a 1986. Just going to leave him about 7th right now. Rowan Lloyd says WSRM. I appreciate that. We hope that we put on good shows for you guys, and I certainly hope that I can live up to the standard of Angel Santiago, who is currently he was unable to be here tonight. I'm filling in. Hopefully my voice sounds good. I've been dealing with a little bit of a cold. But I'm excited to bring you guys some racing action from Martinsville. And certainly Martinsville is a very fun track to be on. It's very tricky though, and typically I stay away from it when it comes to those official races. But once you get into a good league, good clean rate league like the Racers Elite series that all run here, it's typically pretty fun to have a good group of guys. Jesse Fox says good evening, and good evening to you as well, sir. Gonna have to put on a good one there, Jesse, to get yourself some breathing room there from that 12th position. Wish you luck on that one. Brandon Honeycutt says, I'm gonna get everything I can possibly get. As it looks like now Lee Campbell's on track. And Todd Slauson is on track as well. Going to set their times here. Todd Slauson going wide here. I wonder if he's trying to just get a really good run off. He's going to cross the line with a 2019. Lee Campbell going to set a 1995. Almost a good number. 1996 is the year I was born. Is the greatest year there can be. Going to dive it into the corner here, and he's going to See what he can work on here to try to get a little bit quicker of a time. Down across the line. Does improve marginally from a 1995 to a 1994. Still got about 3.5 minutes here in qualifying. Brandon Honeycutt said, you know what? This is my extra test session, so we're gonna go ahead and just kind of hang out here with him for a minute while we wait for possibly Andrew Teff to make a time. He's the only driver that has not made a time. Richard Odie out on the track now, warming up his tires. Gonna look to make a good run down into this corner. Have a good fire off to start that first lap. You see, trying to hug that curb. You don't want to hit it. It'll definitely throw your rear end around, or definitely set you off course. But you want to try to get as tight to that as you can. Gonna come down and around to the line. 2014, the year I graduated. Hope I'm not making anybody feel old by saying so. I'm going to dive it down in there and try to get a great drive off. See if he can improve there. Oh, grabs the wall, and he's going to have to stick with that 2014. Tried to give her just as much as he could possibly give her on the way out. Going to have to settle for that 2014, but hey, you can't fault a guy for getting all that he can get. And it looks like we may have our final driver on his way to set a time here. 2 minutes left in qualifying, my apologies. And he said, "It's my time to shine." He's got a green flag there on that drive. And it's crazy to watch these guys get up to just about 120 mile an hour. Back down all the way to 70. Some people dropping into the 60s. Comes off turn 4. Gonna get his first time here. He's gonna go in 6th place with a 1976, tying Logan Joyner. See if he can get a little bit more here as he goes down the backstretch, down into the turn, watching that nose dive and grab the ground. May have brushed the wall a little bit there. Let's see what he gets. Oh, he gets a 1977, just a touch bit slower. I think he might have grabbed the wall there on his exit, but ultimately it puts him 6th as Brandon Honeycutt is going to continue his laps around in circles. Which, I mean, you can't fault him. He's getting his practice in. I mean, he's done probably another extra 10, 15 laps. Just about 20 seconds or so before we start switching over to the gridding portion. Go ahead and get you that lineup once we get to the grid. I want to thank everybody for coming out and, you know, spending your night with us here on SRM. Watch it on your phones, on your computer, or wherever you may be watching. Really means a lot to us. Go ahead and hit that notification button. Get notified anytime that we go live. We go live just about every night of the week with great races. If you love my voice, you'll hear me tomorrow on Road and Plate Series. So looking forward to seeing some of you guys as well tomorrow. Going to go ahead and bring up the grid here. Nathan Mann's going to roll off first here, followed by Christopher Pendle. Jacob Plank and Sean Dunaway are going to be row 2. Logan Joyner and Andrew Teft in row 3. Dennis Kane and Brandon Honeycutt, who got well enough of his times to of practice runs here. He's going to start 8th. Brandon Sanfilippo and Truth Hoke going to round out row 5. Jesse Fox, Lee Campbell going to be in row 6. Kirby Wayne Scott, one of my favorite names to say. Does he have the... Does not. He's got the KFC finger-licking good car tonight. He's going to start lucky number 13. Richard Odie going to start 14th. And rounding out the field is going to be Todd Slauson. So certainly going to be a great field here tonight. Gonna have loads of action with these guys. The Racers Elite is always, as in their title, elite racers. And this is one of the scariest things here. You see that pace car go down, and you're gonna have to watch in your mirror more than you are out front of you. Make sure nobody tries to overshoot that corner and ultimately run you over. And that's going to be a big thing throughout the entire race. Is just trying to make sure that you get your runs where you need to get them. And not try to push the issue too much, because if you push the issue too much, you may end up nose first into the wall like Denny Hamlin this past week. We're going to roll through 3 and 4 for the final time under caution. Going to see him enter into that restart zone and see if he fires off. He's going to wait, fires off, and he's going to lead them down into turn 1. 94 of Christopher Pendle hanging on just to that right rear quarter there. Nathan Mann's going to fire it off and lead us to the first lap. He's going to lead the first lap here and set sail. Looks like Jacob Plank's already getting under fire from Logan Joyner, just a touch. Jesse Fox and the 69 of, or the 55 of Truth Hoax side by side down in the corner, and oh, you can see Truth Hoax giving him plenty of room, but it's really hard to make that pass on the inside there. Washes up the track just a touch. And look at that bumper sticker there for Truth Hoax. Elderly driver. It's not a rookie driver, he's an elderly driver. And certainly elderly drivers are typically better than us youngins here. Back up front, Nathan Mann still leads Christopher Pendle just by about 3/10 here, just about a car length or so. HSF says hi. How you doing tonight? Glad you stopped by to watch some good old-fashioned Racers Elite Racing here tonight. Currently working lap number 6 of 200 here tonight. 200 laps. It sounds like a ton, but surely with a track that is under half a mile, we're certainly going to see those laps tick off really quickly, as you know, we've only been racing for about 2 minutes and already about 7 laps in. .35 of Jacob Plank looking to the inside there. Gets a little squirrely. Todd Slauson finds himself up 3 spots to the number 12 position right about now. HSF, certainly, if you're into F1, it's very easy to get into NASCAR as well. Been a dedicated NASCAR fan since at least 1996. But no, I've been going to races since 2004, when I was just about 8 years old. And I can tell you now, never stopped. I'm even traveling to several different tracks and, making sure I reach everything. Back up front, Jacob Plank kind of backed off of Christopher Pendle for just a moment. Andrew Teft is leading Brandon Honeycutt, who's got those extra pace or extra practice laps through the qualifying session. It's looking like it's working for him right now. All over the back bumper of Andrew Teft. So 16 laps into the book. Nathan Mann leads Christopher Pendle by 6, almost 7/10 of a second. Jacob Plank sitting in third. Logan Joyner directly behind in fourth. Sean Dunaway in fifth. Andrew Teft just behind them with Brandon Honeycutt following in suit in sixth and seventh. Truth Hoke and Dennis Kane eighth and ninth. Jesse Fox sitting in 10th. Brandon Sanfilippo sitting 11th. Todd Slauson up 3 spots to number 12. Richard Odie up 1 spot to 13th. Lee Campbell in 14th. And Kirby Wainscott rounding out the field in that finger-licking good KFC car. Honeycutt all over the back of Teft. I want to apologize. Seems like having a little bit of connectivity issues for a moment there. Andrew Teft gonna let Honeycutt through there. So we pop back up front to our leader, Nathan Mann, who's got a decent lead still here on Christopher Pendle, but Pendle's not really letting him get away further than that 6/10 of a second. And ultimately, a big key tonight's going to be saving. You want to save your tires. You want to be careful on your throttle. You don't want to gas it too hard coming out of a corner because it's certainly easy to slip those rear tires. And there's not a lot of places for people to go here. So once you're sideways, you're at the mercy of everybody around you. And certainly being at the mercy of everybody else on such a tight track is not a very convenient or comfortable thing by any means whatsoever. And I feel like this is this camera right now is a testament to how small this track actually is. I mean, they don't even really become smaller when they're across the track. And I can tell you, right about that start-finish line, about 30 rows up, is where I sit every single November, late October. And you see everything. I mean, you barely even have to turn your head to see what's going on. You just move your eyes. It's truly a small little paperclip. And it's certainly a paperclip that Nathan Mann has figured out right now. Brandon Honeycutt has found his way to Sean Dunaway, really pushing this car at and trying to get all that he can. Looks to the inside here. Not going to be quite there to get to the inside. But has a good drive off. Going to be the inside here. Going down into turn 3 and 4. Looks like Sean Dunaway is going to take the high line, concede this spot to Honeycutt, and Honeycutt's going to set his sights forward on the 34 of Logan Joyner. And certainly HSF. NASCAR is typically closer racing. There are some weeks where you see an absolute domination by somebody and they just cannot be touched, but ultimately it's always rather close. It's at some point. And some weeks there are just tracks that you don't like. Some weeks there's tracks that you absolutely love to watch. Some you watch half, some you watch the whole race. It's one of those things that it's such a long season. You kind of pick and choose, when you want to tune in, when you want to just watch highlights. Me, I'm an avid. I watch it every single weekend, like it's a religion of some sorts. I mean, I watch it so much that now I do broadcasting for it here at SRM, Sim Racing Media, putting on leagues just like Racers Elite. We do the Xfinity Series, Truck Series, and Next Gen Series for these guys, as well as the Super Speedway Series. Brandon Honeycutt still sitting right around that 0.7 of a second off of Logan Joyner here. Jacob Plank and Christopher Pendall have kind of grown about a 1.5 seconds to 2.8 lead over Logan Joyner, but the real story here is the fact that Nathan Mann has found a second gear and sits currently over a second ahead of Christopher Pendall and is looking to put Kirby Wainscott down a lap here. And that shows you right there. That's your leader right now, looking to attack after Kirby Wainscott. Get some guys in front of the drivers behind him and grow his lead even more. HSF, I certainly have to ask, who is your driver in F1? I'm interested. It's Nathan Mann. Looks like that was Christopher Pendall. Gonna have to go back and look at that one. That thing just stepped out real quickly to the side, and not sure what happened there. Oh. Really hard to tell through that what necessarily happened. Let's see, I mean, it could have been too much brake bias, locked him up. Yeah, certainly. Carrying just a tad bit too much speed into the corner. Tried to get it slowed down and woed up. But ultimately, it's just, brings the rear end around and, he carries on. So while these guys go ahead and pit, we're going to go ahead and take a short commercial break here. My name is Jordan Brockell, here with Sim Racing Media for Racers Elite Xfinity Series. back here at the racetrack, working lap 39 here at Martinsville Speedway. Christopher Pendle finds himself sitting in 13th after his spin there. Nathan Mann still at the point. HSF, I'm one of those guys that I came into it through Drive to Survive, and I picked up on both Daniel Ricciardo and Lando Norris. So when Daniel Ricciardo no longer had a ride, I became a Lando Norris fan. I'm a big McLaren guy. I got very suckered into the whole McLaren. But lights out on the pace car. We're going to go through 3 and 4 one more time before we see that green flag in the air and these guys get back to doing some work. Nathan Mann going to start out on the outside here. Going to have control. He's going to roll towards that restart box. Go about dead center of that box and sends it. Oh, Logan Joyner really trying to find some speed off of there. And just like that, we are back under caution here for Brandon Sanfilippo. Oh, and it actually happened in front of him. Just Sanfilippo's name was the first one that came up for me. Go ahead and take a different look at this. Jesse Fox, Andrew Teft in this as well. Oh, so it looks like it starts with the 35 of Jacob Plank. Private investigator work here going. And it seems to be the same thing that happened to Christopher Pendle. Locked up, went a little too deep in the corner, and found himself in trouble. And it looks like everyone just kind of checked up for that, and you know, it looks like the others paid the price. He didn't get much of anything there. So working lap 40. Second caution here. Just had our pit stops not too long ago, so these guys are probably going to all stay out here. Not worry about anything. And certainly HSF, they definitely exaggerated a lot of the drama, and you know, that's part of what suckers a lot of us into that stuff, is we want that drama because we don't necessarily have that drama in our own lives. Lights out on the pace car. Can see him make that hard left turn here momentarily. And these guys have to work themselves through turns 3 and 4 before being able to creep into that restart zone. And certainly it's been all Nathan Mann so far. See if Honeycutt can get a jump on him here. And no, Mann leaves him in the dust. Plays a little bit of a stall out game there, just a touch, and then sends it. Caught them sleeping there as Logan Joyner's looking to the inside of Honeycutt still. Honeycutt just going to tuck in line behind Joyner now. Honeycutt up 5 positions from the start of this race. Same as Truth Hoke and Richard Odie, both up 5 as well. Those are our biggest movers right about now. the thing is as we get these laps to wind down a bit, you know, we're about a quarter of the way through this race. Working lap 49, or working lap 50. Gonna come around at B50, be a quarter of the way through this race now, and it's gonna be one of those things is, what have you learned? What have you figured out about your car? You know, how is it running? How is it working? Where is it best? You know, you've got to have some kind of notebook already going. Nathan Mann has stretched it out to 8/10 of a second lead here over Logan Joyner and Honeycutt. As we could have our a hornet's nest on our hands here soon with, you know, about 5 or 6 cars. 6 cars. 6 cars all within just a half a car length to a car length of each other. And it's going to just take one of those cars to slip up to cause, you know, these guys to be right on top of each other, trying to go too wide where too wide doesn't work. Honeycutt, you know, he's been methodical all race long here, just kind of finding where it works best for him and picking them off one at a time and just trying to find ways to cleanly pass these guys. And I mean, he's passed them low, he's passed them high. And we have caution on the track. Let's take a look back here, see what happened. So looking at Truth Hoke here. Oh, gets loose. Has himself a moment there. And that's what I was saying, you know, early on in this race, is that's going to be one of the hardest things to look out for is you're going to drive off these corners and you're going to get grabbed by that bug of just a tad bit, and I mean it's just ever so slightly a tad bit too much wheel. Let's see what happened to Christopher Pendle here. I've got a bump for him, and it looks like it happened to him again. Into the corner, just a tad bit too deep. Finds himself around there. So Kirby Wainscott, Andrew Teft, Jesse Fox all coming down to get service. And then Christopher Pendle and Truth Hoke coming down for Emily Mann says, go Nathan. Certainly go Nathan. He's been running out here really well. Don't want to give him the announcer's curse. So please, if anything happens to him, do not come find me. It is not my fault. Announcer's jinx is not my fault. I promise. It's a myth. So certainly it's been all Nathan Mann here, and Logan Joyner has found his way up into that second position. And yes, HSF 2 crashes in less than 10 laps is certainly able, possible here at a track like Martinsville, as it's so small and such a tight track that, there's not a lot of room for error. And, when something, you miss a mark, or you miss just the slightest bit of a little too much brake, or just any of those small little things, and it's going to cause, difficulties. Nathan Mann rolls back into the box. Green flag's going to be in the air. Nathan Mann going to get a good drive off, leaving Joyner there to fall in line. Leaving the 0-1 of Sean Dunaway to the outside. Honeycutt finds himself pulling through to third. Joseph Mann now getting on there. Shake and bake. Nathan and Logan. You gotta shake it before you bake it. Sorry. That movie definitely has a lot of lines that make you just scream them out, and everybody looks at you like, what in the crap is this dude on? It looks like Honeycutt looking to the inside of Joyner there. Going to have a good drive off. A little bit of a wobble there by the 13. Not going to be able to get a perfect drive off. Washes up the track, grabs contact there, door to door. Honeycutt going to try to clear him off, but certainly not going to get there. Jacob Plank giving a little bit of a shot there. Oh, tight into this corner, side by side now. Jacob Plank, Honeycutt is clear. Plank to the inside of Joyner. And certainly, at a track like this at Martinsville, Joyner has definitely taken note of, okay, Honeycutt doored me. I owe him one. So certainly at some point, Joyner might give him a little bit of a bumper. It's all about eye for an eye here. At tracks like Martinsville, your Bristols, your Richmonds. It's always eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. So, it's definitely not anything like Austin Dillon did the past weekend, where he drove in 4 car lengths deep, dumped Logano, and then right reared Denny Hamlin. But, certainly if Joyner is within that half car, he's going to definitely go for it and send him a little bit of a shot. Caution on the racetrack now. Looks like it's going to be our fellow Christopher Pendall. He's having a rough night here. See what happened to him. Maybe that turn 3 and 4 once again. Oh no, he got a help this time. It's still 3 and 4, but he got help that time with Andrew Teff giving him a little bit of a shot there. I wonder if Teff just may have gotten a little too deep in there. Yeah, it's one of those, it just tried to fit his nose in there, and, it's one of those things that happens. It's Martinsville. But certainly going to be one of those things that, it happens. It's Martinsville. It'll be interesting to see if anybody capitalizes on maybe getting some stuff done. 28 seems to be lingering towards that left side a bit. Not going to come down, though. Truth Hope going to get a lap back here. Going to put him just 2 laps down now. I want to point out, these guys are running their butts off, trying to do everything they can just to get to the front, because track position is not easy here by any means. So the restart's going to be the best time to gain some spots, but it's also the time when we see these guys get into each other a lot more, just because of how close they are door to door. So as they get ready to file up. We're going to take a quick commercial. We'll be back for the restart. Back here at Martinsville, pace car are going to lead these guys down the backstretch. Nathan Mann's going to start on the inside here with Brandon Honeycutt to his outside. Logan Joyner following in tow. As Joseph Mann says, the shake and bake partner. And massive jump from Mann. Logan Joyner going to pull in just behind, but Honeycutt's going to fight to that outside, and that's going to be the hardest thing to do, is be on that outside, because you either got to jump right with the leader or you're going to fall back. It's simple as that, because you want to be to the outside of that leader and try to get to that, get into a spot in line and follow these guys. And before I even get the ticker back up, we're going to have another caution here. Looks like it's going to be Dennis Kane of the 4 Machine. Looks like he gets in there and... Yeah, it looks like he was a couple cars back, and, Jesse Fox is not expecting him to be there. I mean, he is a couple cars off there. And I mean, that's a pretty deep dive to be making from a full car out. I mean, he's up on the barricade, or up on the curb there. So I think it just misjudged a little bit there, but, it happens. Honeycutt going to get another crack at it, but he's going to be more than likely the inside line here. But Logan Joyner and Nathan Mann have it pretty dialed up, and have been having great starts. Nathan Mann and Logan Joyner being teammates, so you're kind of having a teammate restart here, and it's working in their favor right about now, as they've got the front row on lock. And I mean, it's as simple as getting a little bit of a countdown just before running off. said a little bit of an issue for Pendle. Not sure what it was. It said he crashed, but I guess he's just coasting here, letting everybody by. And that's the situation. Getting ready to go back green here. Joyner and Mann leading those 2 rows there. Is Mann's going to have a fire off. Joyner following in 2. And certainly they've got the shake and bake down here at Martinsville. Oh, it looks like Sanfilippo grabbed a little bit of a wall there. Sanfilippo fighting on that outside, trying to get every single inch off this track that he can. Even trying to run a little bit wide, kind of trying to diamond on his way out here. As it looks like Teft looks to the inside to push it almost 3 wide going into turn 3. Looks like Sanfilippo got up the track a little bit. Pendle hits the wall, almost grabs the left rear of Sanfilippo. Andrew Teft finds his way around Richard Odie. Lee Campbell just a bit up further, sitting about 0.6 of a second off of Jacob Blank, but under fire by Sean Dunaway, who's creeped into about a 2 to 3/10 of a second. Gets a big dive in there. Gonna give him the bumper just a touch. Hey, I'm here. I want your spot. Gonna dive in. Looks like, oh, he gets the curb just a touch there. Certainly a scary moment there, but he hangs on to it, which is an immaculate thing there. Looked like Lee Campbell was going to go ahead and concede the spot for him, as he was the faster driver there for a second. But Sean Dunaway having a little bit of issues going through that corner, but able to keep it under him. Let's see if he can get back into the groove here. As Nathan Mann is just up ahead, you can see him making a little bit of a gap over Joyner, Honeycutt, and Plank. Looking to the inside, just a touch there. Gonna have a drive off, see if he dives it in there and tries to give him a little bit of a shot again. Little bit. Nope. Does not get to the bumper, but certainly going to be right there as he comes into turn 1 and 2. Looks like Lee's going to stay high, try to give Dunaway the spot again. This time keeps her straight, keeps her going, and he's going to take over the 5th place position right now. And while we were on board with Dunaway, Andrew Teft has found his name in this little shuffle here. So currently we have a battle between Andrew Teft and Sean Dunaway, as well as Logan Joyner, Brandon Honeycutt, and Jacob Plank, all staying within a reasonable distance of each other. As we start nearing closer and closer to the end, or to the halfway position, my apologies, halfway point in this race. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Certainly means a lot to me to have you guys sit here and listen to my voice. I know you're usually entertained by one Angel Santiago, But here I am filling in for the Racers Elite Xfinity Series, and I hope you're enjoying your time here. Go ahead and leave us some comments, interact a little bit. Certainly love the conversation that we've had a little bit throughout this show, so don't be afraid to shout out your favorite driver. I'll give him some screen time. Tell me who you're rooting for. Tell me everything. Honeycutt still trying to find a way up to that rear end of Dunaway, or of Joyner. My apologies. He's ever so slightly there, but then it's the off corner. Joyner gets him off corner, but Brandon Honeycutt's able to have a good drive in and a center through corner, but it's the drive off that Joyner is able to have better. You see that gap just absolutely pulls away from Honeycutt as we have caution on the track. Looks like Jacob Plank was just behind these guys and now finds himself all the way back into 13th place. Grab that curb. That curb's going to get you every single time. That curb is a menace, and I'm not friends with it at all either. So Nathan Mann has led just about every single lap, if not has led every single lap. HSF says he's going with Honeycutt, and that's certainly a great pick. Honeycutt is one of the good guys. Stephanie Fox says go Jesse Fox. Jesse Fox finds himself sitting right up here in that 4th position, trying to find himself a good finish, keep him in the playoffs, and not really have to worry about falling out, as Richard Odie is currently behind him, and Christopher Pendall having a little bit of a rough night, but sitting 2 spots behind him. So those are the biggest contesters for Jesse Fox tonight. But certainly, that bumper does not mean anything here for him tonight. He does not need it. So that little bit of a damage that he has should not affect his drive at all. He should be good to just keep on pounding away and trying to find his way through these 3 cars up front. Although these 3 cars up front of Nathan Mann, Logan Joyner, and Brandon Honeycutt have been a class of the field so far tonight. But Jesse Fox decides, I'm going to throw my name into that. I want to be known as one of the top drivers. I want an interview. So Jesse, I'm just going to say, Stephanie's probably screaming, saying, put your foot down and get there. So as we draw, we're at the halfway point. So 100 laps, 100 left in the rest of this race. A little bit of a glitch there for our connection, but seems to be working itself out. These guys are going to roll through turns 3 and 4, and we're going to see the shake and bake of Nathan Mann and Logan Joyner once again. And it works to perfection again. Honeycutt to the inside of Fox. Fox trying to get ahead of Sean Dunaway here to get down from that higher line. But ultimately, looks like he's stuck on that outside, and that outside is... It just seems to always get that second car in line. Especially with how good Logan Joyner... Oh, looks like a big hit there for Kirby Wainscott. But Lee Campbell... being run down by Brandon Sanfilippo. Jesse Fox finally gets in line and now has to rework, and that's what I was saying, is that outside line, second row on the restarts is really hard to manage. And again, it's all due to the work that Nathan Mann and Logan Joyner have. They just simply have it down to a T on when to go and how to go and everything like that. As it looks like the 4 of Dennis Kane's going to try to get really close to Jesse Fox there. Stephanie Fox says, "It's like you know me." Certainly, as a racer's wife or even parent, it's one of those things where, you know, the parent or wife or significant other of some sort is always there yelling, and it's honestly awesome. It doesn't matter if it's IRL or if it's here on the virtual sim of iRacing. Always got that family member that's begging you to do better. Heck, I could be in first place and I'd still be getting... My dad would probably be telling me, make it a bigger lead. Bigger lead. You only won by 2 seconds. Bigger lead. Sean Dunaway has found his way to the rear bumper of Honeycutt, as Honeycutt is still on the back bumper of Joyner. And Sean Dunaway's car has come to life. Earlier, wasn't having a great start, you know, kind of sat around mid-pack, and he's found his way up now. A little bit further back, Jesse Fox under fire from Chris Pendle. Pendle trying to just make any kind of rebound as he can. He sets his sights on the 4 of Dennis Kane now. HSF, and that's just how racing goes, right? Doesn't matter who you like, you're still going to yell at them, tell them to do better. And that's what I love about the virtual sims. You get to have more favorites of race drivers and everything, the different leagues you watch. You know, me, I always choose whoever's running the number 84. That's my number. I've had that number through football. I've had that number on this sim since I started. I don't run any other number. So if someone's got 84, that's who I want to win. Still got this little bit of a trolley going here with the 4 cars here. You know, you got the leading engine taking off here about a half a second ahead of these 3. But these 3 are within 0.3 of a second of each other, just about a half a car. Back a little further. Oh, I just heard something. Caution number 7 out on the track. And I heard that motor expire, and it's Christopher Pendle. Oh, and he gets in and tries to correct it and nose first into the outside wall, and that's what I was saying. It's very easy to try to correct it and send that front nose in. Comes out of nowhere. He's been battling that brake, you know, I think maybe brake biased or just a little too far in the corner. But he's been battling that all night, and it finally decides that it wants to take him out, and it's a bummer there. I mean, he fought his way back all the way up, you know, fighting up in that lower top 10 and everything like that. So Lee Campbell, Brandon Sanfilippo, Todd Slauson, Dennis Kane, Richard Odie, and Kirby Wainscott. Going to stay out here is Sean Dunaway, Nathan Mann, Logan Joyner, Brandon Honeycutt, Truth Hoke, Andrew Teff, Jesse Fox, all going to come down pit road. So this is going to be interesting. You've got Lee Campbell, Sanfilippo, Slauson, Kane, and Odie. Been out here since lap 97. Just under 30 laps on their stuff. And then you have Sean Dunaway, Logan Joyner, Nathan Mann, Brandon Honeycutt, Andrew Teft, and Kirby Wainscott. All on brand new fresh tires. So this could be interesting, and this could cause a little bit more of some more cautions here, because I mean you have 5 cars that are on old tires versus 6 cars that are on fresh Goodyear rubber. So this could be interesting, because those guys are going to lose their patience and really try to get through these guys, and you know that can ultimately take out those top 3, top 4 drivers that we've seen today. You see now Joyner, Honeycutt, Mann all found their way through as Sean Dunaway fell back rather quickly. You see, man, really trying to work past Lawson here. He's got the fresher tires. He's stuck behind as Logan Joyner finds himself at the point now with Brandon Honeycutt following in suit. Lee Campbell still holding on strong there in third position. Lee Campbell now under fire from Andrew Teft, who's also on that those fresher tires. Going to look to the inside here. Going to dive in. Lee Campbell's going to stay up high, concede the spot, knowing that he's faster. However, Nathan Mann has found his way through into third place, running the fastest lap of the race at 1965. So finishing lap 133, just under 70 laps to go here. Nathan Mann finishes across the line at a 1963, going faster once again. So he's tracking down these guys, trying to regain that top spot he once had. And this is the first time that he's really not had any, he's not the one leading the laps. And I mean, he's about a tenth faster than these guys each and every lap so far. He's tracked down these guys to within 4/10. See those rotors glowing on that 13 machine as he locks them down to make the corner here in Martinsville, going from, 114, 115 mile an hour down to about 60. So you're almost cutting your speed in half to make these corners. You see right there, that's a good shot right there of Nathan Mann. You can see those rotors glowing, nice bright orange. Sanfilippo under fire here. Christopher Bendel finds himself 5 laps down. Logan Joyner still leads Brandon Honeycutt. Nathan Mann running down Brandon Honeycutt now, trying to get to him to get by. Todd Slauson's now under fire from Sean Dunaway, who had a bad restart, who's got to try to find their way back up. And once again, we have that train of Logan Joyner, Brandon Honeycutt, and Nathan Mann just in a different order. Logan Joyner leads Brandon Honeycutt still with just under 60, about 53 laps to go, 54 laps to go. And these laps are going to start ticking off even quicker as we get deeper into this. Sean Dunaway has found his way around Todd Slauson and now looks to try to get past Lee Campbell, who is the last car in front of him that is on older stuff. But you can see right there, right out the gearbox, Andrew Teft has pretty much a full straightaway on these guys. They come out of turn 4 as he goes into turn 1, so Sean Dunaway is going to have a lot on his hands to try to run down these guys. And Andrew Teft's going to have a lot on his hands to try to run down Nathan Mann, Brandon Honeycutt, and Logan Joyner. We're going to go ahead and step aside one last time and give you the last couple of laps commercial free. I'm Jordan Brockell here with SRM for the Racers Elite Xfinity Series. Back here at the racetrack, Brandon Honeycutt looking to the inside of the 34 of Logan Joyner, trying to give everything he can to get by him as Nathan Mann's been putting the pressure on him. Oh, and he keeps it straight. Take a look back at that. Goes in, cuts under, gets it just to the left rear. Does straighten him back out, so at least that's nice to him. But ultimately, Honeycutt finds his way to the lead now. And, you know, that move's not going to be forgotten. 43 laps left, and that's not enough time for Logan Joyner to even begin to forget about what's going on. Or what just happened, I should say. As there's caution now, Jesse Fox seems to be the one in trouble here. So now is when everything changes. Everybody on the lead lap is in the pits right now, besides Brandon Honeycutt and Nathan Mann. Last down on lap 119, so about 40 lap old tires. And that's going to be very interesting. You know, these guys are going to be on much older stuff. And it's going to be one of those things, is that going to be the winning move for, you know, Andrew Teft or Logan Joyner or Sean Dunaway? So lights off on the pace car. Gonna see what Nathan Mann can do on the outside with Honeycutt being the lead car here. Mann falls behind just a touch. Honeycutt gonna get a big drive off. Joyner gonna follow in suit. Nathan Mann gonna fall in line behind him. Sean Dunaway is going to be all over the rear bumper of Nathan Mann, and Nathan Mann, being the fastest driver of the race so far, is going to be under pressure from the fresh tires of Sean Dunaway, Slauson, Campbell, Sanfilippo, Teft. I mean, the list goes on there. So it's going to be interesting, as Joyner goes to the inside and finds his way through Brandon Honeycutt. And see, now I wonder if Honeycutt's thinking, you know, try to preserve, hang on to something, and not not give the chance for Logan Joyner to give him a shot there. You know, maybe saving his race by, letting Joyner go by. Joyner had that on his mind to probably give him a bump going into turn 3 and 4 the final time and essentially give him his payback. As Nathan Mann's all over the rear bumper of Honeycutt right now. Joyner has now flipped the script. He's the one that's leading out by over a second. Man gives Honeycutt a shot, and that's certainly going to bring out the caution here as Honeycutt gets turned. Filippo slides in. Pendall jams the brakes to stop as well. We saw that all firsthand there. Gave him a shot. He got loose, and just nothing that was going to happen there. So Honeycutt in pit road loses all of that he had. It's going to come back out in 13th. So he went from first down to second. And now finds himself 13th, just behind Nathan Mann. So Logan Joyner all lonesome up there in first place. No Nathan Mann. So it's going to be interesting here. Everybody came down came down at lap 159 that's currently up front here. And then you have Nathan Mann and Honeycutt, who were just down pit road, and now they're the ones with a tire advantage. It's not as big of a tire advantage as the guys had previously on these guys, but still a tire advantage. As you know, we're working towards lap 172. Pace lights are off lights are off on the pace car. So we're going to have 28 to go at the line. And the give and take is done. You know, everybody's going to be pushing for everything that they possibly can right here. Joyner rolls in, hesitates, tricks them on that restart, and sends it off into turn one, already out to a 0.4 of a second lead over Sean Dunaway. Todd Slauson still looking to try to get to the inside there as Dunaway's going to lock him up. He's going to be sideways, and that might bring out another caution for us. Certainly does, as it looks like a heap of people were in that. See Dunaway sideways up there. Hoke gets into him. Honeycutt's into him. Kane's into him. He's going to see Dunaway sideways right here and have absolutely nowhere to go. And then that's the nature of Martinsville. Everybody's going to stack up and get stuck here. And then Hoke tries to spin it around and out of frustration probably gets that outside wall as well. So in just that short amount of time, Nathan Mann found himself from 12th up to 7th, capitalizing on some of those misfortunes there. But sadly, Brandon Honeycutt having a wonderful night, gonna find himself with a busted up car. Gonna bring her down, try to get what he can fixed. But ultimately, Joyner's going to be in first. Todd Slauson finds second. Andrew Teft in third. Lee Campbell in fourth. Brandon Sanfilippo in fifth. Kirby Wainscott finds himself in sixth. Nathan Mann up to seventh. Jesse Fox in eighth. Sean Dunaway currently down pit road, going to be 10th. Richard Odie coming out behind him with Brandon Honeycutt and Jacob Plank. Truth Hoke. Truth Hoke is heavily damaged though, and it's going to be a tough one for him. So it's going to be interesting what these guys come up with, because now, you know, we went from having about 28 to when we come back around this time, going to have just 21 laps to the finish. And I mean, it's going to be 20 to go. And that's going to be rather exciting, because 20 laps with 12 cars still able to have a shot here. And Jacob Plank's just one lap down. A caution gives him the lucky dog. I mean, these guys are getting ready to crank it up and go haywire. As Logan Joyner's going to come off turn 4 here, enter that restart zone and try to pull a little bit of a trick on these guys again. Going to fire off. Slauson's going to try to catch up. And Joyner's going to have a nice lead going down into turn 1. $19 to go here. Joyner already having a 1.2 second lead over Andrew Teft. Slauson sits just behind the 98 machine of Teft. You got Nathan Mann on the outside of Lee Campbell fighting for position. Campbell going to have a good drive off, but Nathan Mann ultimately on that high side is going to be able to make it work. Just 17 to go here. Oh, and Nathan Mann goes around. Just try to dive it in deep and looped her around. So more struggles for Nathan Mann. Once he lost the lead, he had a hard time getting through these guys right now to get back to it. So now that's going to make things even more interesting here. As they're going to have 15 laps to go as we sit right now, which means we're going to have less when we get back to green. And someone like Teft, Slauson, you know, they're going to be right there behind the 34 machine of Logan Joyner. And, you know, if they can get a good run off with him, you know, there's no reason why they wouldn't give him a bumper. And don't look now, Brandon Honeycutt back with a bumper and a fresh looking car, sitting in 5th position. So if I do my math right, we should have roughly about 11 to go when they come back around. They should double up here. And then when they come back around, they'll be completing lap 188 or 189. So should have 11 to go when we get back to the line. So we're going to have an 11 lap shootout here. Logan Joyner going to bring him into the box. Logan Joyner going to get a good jump here. Going to get out to about a half a second just in turn 1. Andrew Teft trying to make it work on the outside, but Slauson's fighting on the inside still. And you know, for these guys just behind, the more they fight, the more Logan Joyner's going to be able to step away from them. Joseph Mann says, boogity, boogity, boogity. Yes, sir. 10 laps to go. 9.5 as we come down into turn 3 and 4. And ultimately, this Hornet's Nest right here is where the action is, as Honeycutt's looking to the inside of Teft now. Gonna dive it in there. Gonna try to make that pass work, as Andrew Teft's pretty wide, but seen a couple guys make that wide turn there. Slauson in the wall. Honeycutt looking to make a jump on that, but unable to get there to his door. Slauson's up the track. Honeycutt looking to the inside. Honeycutt's in absolute 11. He cranked it from 10 to 11. Oh, and it looks like Campbell was upside down almost for a second. So we have caution number 12 on the night. And I want to say Lee Campbell was almost on his lid. So Campbell in absolute terrible territory here. Also grabs Jesse Fox and Kirby Wainscott as well. It looks like also Nathan Mann and Dennis Kane were grabbed into that as well. So Nathan Mann having a race of his life certainly has fallen here, and you know, now it's just going to have to hope on his driver Logan Joyner to be able to bring home a win for Budweiser Racing. So while they go ahead and work through this, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. and be back with the last 5 or 6 laps of this race for you guys. Back here at the racetrack as we get ready to go. We're going to have about 3 laps to go. Going to have pretty much a green-white checkered here as these guys get ready to go back racing. And kind of looking down the list here, everybody is still running. Everybody's still on track that was in that incident before. But for someone like Nathan Mann to get back up to that point spot, he's going to have to basically wish and pray on everything that he owns and has and wishes for. Because it's not going to be easy to go from 11th all the way up to 1st. And, you know, he's been the dominant car all night long, and it's a bummer to see. But, you know, all eyes are on Logan Joyner, who has been the 2nd most dominant car all night. Right there behind him in 3rd, 4th place, Brandon Honeycutt's going to be trying to get up there as well, as he's been 3rd best, 2nd best all night as well. As Logan Joyner gets a big jump, leaves Slauson in the dust as well as Andrew Teft. And I heard something there. Yellow flag is out, and it looks like Andrew Teft in some stuff now. Yeah, it just looks like he gets sent for a ride there. So that pace car is going to lead these guys down the backstretch into turns 3 and 4. Possibly for the final time if we can keep all these cars straight for the next 3 laps, 2 laps. Going to be a green-white checkered here. Joyner's going to roll towards that restart zone. And just like every time, he gets a good jump, as it looks like the 22 may have tried to time it and jumped a tad bit too early, but that makes it even better for Joyner to get a massive jump. Looks like Dunaway. Dunaway's on the outside line trying to get a good spot. Falls back in line behind Honeycutt. Todd Slauson trying to fight back towards Joyner as we see the white flag in the air. Honeycutt falls off of Slauson for just a moment. Joyner to the point by over half a second down the backstretch for the final time. Gonna dive it into 3 and 4. And coming out of 4, Logan Joyner is going to go from second best to race winner here at Martinsville Speedway. Todd Slauson's going to come second. Brandon Honeycutt's going to round out your top 3. And we're going to hear from those guys momentarily. But the biggest story is Nathan Mann makes his way back up to 6th position after multiple disappointments and run-ins with people. But Logan Joyner, who was in the tire tracks of Nathan Mann all night long, going to give a little bit bump to the outside wall as he burns it down here on the front stretch of the paperclip. So while he burns it down, we're going to go ahead and try to find some of these guys, give them a little bit of a shout out. So just trying to find our guys here. It looks like Brandon Honeycutt is not available. So we'll go ahead and see if we can find Slauson here. There's Todd Slauson. We'll go ahead and try to get him in here in the booth. Todd Slauson, it's Jordan up in the booth. You got a copy?
Gotcha. What's up, Jordan?
Well, I mean, you go from 15th, tail end of this field, all the way up to P2 for the night. That's certainly got to feel great for you.
I would have just taken a top 10 with the speed I had tonight. I was super slow. I just avoided most of the accidents and was able to just keep consistency and end up avoiding the mayhem pretty much. But yeah, definitely, I'll take second starting 15.
Yeah, and certainly there was quite a bit of mayhem there, and you find your way through some of it, and that's certainly got to be a terrifying thing, especially at a track like Martinsville that doesn't really have a lot of space for you to kind of run away and navigate.
Yeah, you never get a rest. You know, a lot of the other tracks on the straight stretches and stuff, you kind of take a breather, but here you can never rest. You're constantly trying to drive this car, make sure you don't get the wall, make sure you don't spin it out. Get you getting in, it gets you getting out of the corners, and very difficult to drive. So that's off to all the guys tonight. I think they did a great job, and I had a good time racing with them. I just tried to let the guys go when they caught me and just take what I could get. So I'm definitely happy with second place.
Yeah, certainly was a good run, and you find yourself sitting before this race around third in the points, getting ready to head into the chase. I believe it's next week. I don't know if you guys have an off week. I didn't look at the calendar. But, you know, now you get to set your sights on the chase and, you know, try to get yourself into contention further for that championship.
Yeah, I'm super excited for the chase here. I need to just get a win. That's what I've been after all season. I just come up short like tonight, a few times, and it's bittersweet. To finish so good, but you definitely want to get that win. And I need to get that win checked off. So that's going to be my goal here next few races.
Yeah, well, we certainly want to wish you luck for the next week's race. And before we send you on your way, is there anybody you want to shout out to or give thanks?
Yeah, definitely my teammates Jacob and Lee. They're so fun to have in the race and the commentary, entertaining always. So appreciate those guys and the feedback I get from them. It's always good to have teammates. Uh, the guys at Full Send and also my family for letting me do this. They always are so patient and give me Wednesday nights to just come down here and decompress and kind of get away from the week. So I appreciate them as well.
Yeah, well, again, congratulations on P2, and we look forward to seeing you make a run there in the playoffs.
Appreciate it. We'll see you later.
And now, certainly not least, we're going to go ahead and bring up our race winner in Logan Joyner. Logan Joyner, we're up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, I mean, for the most part, you and Nathan Mann ran this race and controlled everything. I mean, from the restarts to just the race in general. I mean, you guys basically had what I believe Joseph Mann, if I can see the comment real quick. Yep, Joseph Mann said shake and bake Nathan and Logan. So you guys seem to have really good teamwork tonight.
Oh yeah, man. We always we grew up together, so we work well together. And I'm not sure what the 13's so mad about, but he thought after the 13 wrecked me in 3 and 4, and after that Nathan locked up the brakes and got into him, and he said it was intentional, and then pulled a classless move and just wrecked him under yellow, destroyed his car. So not sure what that was about, but Nathan wrecking him wasn't going to help him at all anyways. I was on fresh tires, but it is what it is. Martinsville heat, I guess.
Yeah, certainly when you come to these short tracks, it's certainly going to be just kind of something that happens there. And it's kind of hard to avoid. But, ultimately it happens, and you just got to look forward to next week. I was trying to see, you are out of the playoffs, or, well, the chase, but certainly you can give a hand to Nathan Mann. And, how does that work for you going into, next week, next race?
Oh yeah, definitely. We definitely work on strategy and everything together, practice tips and everything like that. I missed a few races because of work, and that's unfortunate because I won the first race of the season. I was hoping to be in the points running, but now I'm pulling hard for Nathan, my teammate, so hoping he can go away with it.
Yeah, and certainly, I mean, you're going from a place like Martinsville up to, Atlanta. And, how do you shift your eyes, from this short track where it's very kind of a certain technique to get around fast to going to somewhere like Atlanta and just having to basically run a completely different style race?
Yeah, definitely. You're going from super technical to almost luck. I mean, yeah, you got to have a little bit of a driving ability to do the super speedway stuff, but it's a lot of luck and a lot of strategy at the super speedways. So hopefully Nathan and I can work together and we can go finish 1-2 next week.
Yeah, certainly going to look forward to seeing you guys see what you can do together. But I want to congratulate you again on the first place finish, the win. And before we send you on your way, is there anybody that you want to shout out or thank?
Absolutely. First of all, my teammate Nathan Mon, always helping me out, and other teammate that doesn't race in this series, Jake Rowell. He helps us out with strategy and spots for us. And I'd like to thank my parents for watching, and my wife. And yeah, I appreciate you putting on the broadcast, and this league's very fun, so I appreciate Andrew putting this league on. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's certainly fun to watch you guys run, and it's going to be great to watch you guys have a little bit of that playoff heat as well. So looking forward to that, and we want to wish everybody luck, especially you and Nathan, as you guys head into that chase race.
Thank you, sir. Have a good night.
You too as well. So that's just going to about do it for us here tonight. Logan Joyner wins tonight over Todd Slauson. We're going to go ahead and bring up our results here. Logan Joyner wins by over half a second over Todd Slauson, followed by Brandon Honeycutt. Sean Dunaway and Richard Odie are going to round out that top 5. Nathan Mon makes it a race back up to 6th. Lee Campbell and Andrew Teft 7th and 8th. Brandon Sanfilippo and Kirby Wainscott going to round out your top 10. Jesse Fox going to come 11th. Truth Hoke and Jacob Plank going to be 12th and 13th, followed by Dennis Kane, and rounding out the field, Christopher Pendle finishing 15th. So ultimately a wonderful race here. You know, these guys are going to head into their championship, chase, and we're going to see some great door-to-door action here as these guys, fight for a championship. And with that, as you walk through the streets of life, remember, don't play in traffic. Good night, y'all.